And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. This is a directed network, and I'm net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And nothing heard. We will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our QSO-VLOG network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, fullest sounding broadcast station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30%. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. But it would then be just a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the QSO-VLOG network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 1,460 QSO-VLOG Aircheck recordings. Our mission statement for the network is as follows: to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specifically oriented dipole antenna. One leg of this dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube QSO-VLOG video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray Thee for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach our destination, QSA-5, to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord. God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, this is the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network, and now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, I have a beautiful copy. You're peaking direct 20 to 30 over 9, and I hope you can hear me. Go ahead.
Yes, Charlie, I've got you 15 over on my local antenna. Roger, roger.
Okay, and yeah, that does a terrific job, the local antenna. Yes, yesterday I was working Captain Mike on 40 as he was heading west. As he was heading west from Philadelphia to Sacramento, California. And I believe this recording, I think he was over central Nebraska, heading toward southeastern Wyoming on the way out. So here is Captain Mike, KX4, Whiskey Charlie, Aeronautical Mobile. Here he is, I hope.
So, KX4, Whiskey Charlie, we're 968 miles from Sacramento at 340, and we have a temperature of minus 47. And about a 72 knots quartering headwind there, and we're only doing about 450 knots. So trying to find a small town here. We're still probably several hundred miles east of Scotts Bluff, so we're kind of almost in the middle of Nebraska there, chugging along here. K1GZL, KX4, Whiskey Charlie. Scotts Bluff, so we're going to be north of Cheyenne, and then we're going to come right over the very northern part of the Great Salt Lake there. So we got a little bit of a more northerly route. Even though we're talking with Denver, we're still north of Colorado there. We're not going to actually enter into Colorado this evening. But yeah, I'm just happy to be able to hear you guys, and thanks for being there. KS7 Echo from KX4 Whiskey Charlie.
Okay. Roger, he was starting to fade at that point a little because on his route through there, my 40-meter antenna fires considerably south. Okay, Jim, I'll turn it back to you. I had a very good contact with Ian in southeast Australia, in Melbourne. I'll give you just a couple seconds of that.
Okay, 3 Mike Tuscany, Melbourne. Very noisy band. Extremely noisy. There's a lot of electrical storm activity all around us. They play well to the south and the southeast, and lost up in northern VK2 and across towards New Zealand.
Okay, here it is. Sorry to make such a long one. KC9VKV. I hope you copied that direct. K1GZL.
Yes, sir, Charlie. I held in there direct that for both of those transmissions. It sounded really good. Roger, roger.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And yeah, we've got a bit of a storm heading toward us. As I mentioned, it should be hitting us tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, and that thing could produce anywhere from 7 to 15 inches of snow. It depends on how it all sets up, Jim.
Roger, just last couple of sentences, I switched over to Rochester, which now is just a little bit better than my local antenna as far as noise is concerned. Just a tad better, Roger.
How the band is propagating, so it doesn't take much. When you're right on the edge, you're either a 9+++, you're either a 9++, or you skip over very little mileage sometime, but signals and no DI.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I just went around all my SDRs, and you're at least 10 to 15 over on all of them. Georgia and Arlington included with Milford and Rochester, Roger.
Okay, I think that was a bit of a double. That WA3ZDI. It's Craig. He's down in Reading, PA. Did you call? Well, yeah. Go ahead, Craig, and give KC9VKV a call.
KC9VKV. This is WA3ZDI. Whiskey Alpha 3 Zulu Delta India. Just heard you in there, Charlie, and you're coming in really good right now on 40 meters, as is Jim, so just wanted to give you a report here with the new 7300. Go ahead, Jim. Wonder how copy. KC9VKV, WA3ZDI.
Roger, ZDI, copy you better on the Georgia SDR, believe it or not. You're about 20 over in Georgia, Roger.
About 20 over in Georgia, Roger. Yeah, Roger. Yeah, you're a little light here, Jim, also here into southeastern PA. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up and say hello. And Charlie, you're about 20 here on 140. Go ahead, Charlie. So very good. Go ahead, Charlie. K1GZL, WA3ZDI.
Over 9. So we have a direct shot set up right into Reading. Okay, Jim, I won't hold it too long. I know you probably have a lot of stations ready to come in there, but here you are. Wait a minute.
Better on the Georgia SDR, believe it or not. You're about 20 over in Georgia, Roger.
ZL and KX4 Whiskey Charlie. Charlie, you to take it. 73, I'll be listening out. WA3 FET.
Oh, that was Jim. I got the wrong station on there. Sorry about that. Go ahead. That was Jim, WA3 FET. Oh, boy. KC9VKV, and I'll try. I should be on next Friday. Next Friday, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, sounding good this afternoon, as always. And we'll be looking forward to making contact with you, as always. A good QSO each Friday afternoon. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, sometimes in some circles known as Dr. VKV, and we do record live from now until 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. KC9VKV listening.
W1IPN.
Station IPN, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Yes, sir. William 1, Ida, Peter, Nancy.
IPN, Roger, and what's the name there?
The name is Earl.
Roger, Earl, and what's your location, sir?
Well, I'm just about 150 feet south of Charlotte in South Carolina.
Roger, South Carolina, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm running a 7300 and a PAL-STAR linear, the LA1K at about 400 to 500 watts, and the antenna is a hamstick dipole. Go ahead.
Roger that, and would you be interested in our transmit setup procedure?
Yes, I definitely am. I have listened to you in the past, and then I forgot. And I was cruising around this morning on YouTube, and I thought, wait a minute, I know that fellow.
Roger that. Well, our setup procedure is very generic, but it is effective in converting, say, a 10 dB dynamic range transmitter to a 3 dB dynamic range transmitter, converting it from 30% average peak modulation up to around 80 to 85%. And the whole thing starts with engaging your compressor at a token amount at a 3. So if you would bring on your compressor and a 3. Roger?
I believe you said a 3, correct?
Roger that.
Okay, that's done.
All right, and then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you speak rather quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so you can keep the meter up and look where it's going, adjust the ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3 reading with your mic gain control. Roger?
Roger on that. The ALC is bouncing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 80%, 70 to 80%. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. That's exactly where you want to be. Now, do you know where the EQ, your transmit EQ is?
Oh dear, I don't know what that is. Maybe I didn't hear right either.
Okay, transmit EQ does equalization on the microphone to make it more intelligible. And what we'll do if you don't know where it is, I'll just give you a note to self. When you find out where your transmit EQ is, you want to go 3 clicks hotter on the treble EQ, plus 3 from where you are on the treble EQ. Roger?
Roger. I do know where that, well, I don't know exactly where it is. I have found it, so I know where to go looking.
Yes, sir. Well, you've got your note there, and so you can find it at your leisure and crank in that, and that should be right on target with the current modulation level that you have, adding a little bit more intelligibility to your audio content. I think you'll be right on target. Roger?
Roger. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it immensely.
Yes, sir. Well, let me say 73 to you, sir, and if you can, join us next Friday at 3:30, and we'll check and see how that additional EQ is working for you. And in between now and then, if you wanted to hear your radio, we are recording now live till 5, so if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 1/15/21, that will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Roger. That's very good. I wasn't sure how to find that one.
Yes, sir. Well, hopefully we've made it just about as simple as possible. It used to be you would have to go to a page and then look for it. But the way we're telling you to get to this recording now is probably the simplest. Uses our call sign, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 1/15/21, and that will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Roger. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's 73, and I'll get out of the way because there must be a lot of people wanting to do this.
Roger. Well, we just play it by ear, so to speak. 73 there, Earl. Have a good afternoon, beautiful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. This is the Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
K4LJE.
K4LJE. How's it going down there in North Carolina?
Yeah, good afternoon there, Jim. KC9VKV and the VLOG net. Say hello to Charlie and also all the other fine fellas in here. Good afternoon, Jim. I'm just taking a half a vacation day. Just thought I'd come in here and get another rig out of mothballs here. And I hope you had a fine holidays. And by the way, thanks for the opening prayer there. I really did like that. Enjoyed that. We need that big time there. Mighty fine. Yes, sir. We got the for that, I'll just shoot it back to you. We got the Heathkit twins here, the 401 and the 303, and we got you at about 20 over 9 down here. Go ahead.
Roger, Jim. Now the receiver or transceiver is the 404. Is that a Roger?
401, 401.
401. Roger. Sounded pretty good there. Talk to me just a little bit more. Let me hear some more of you.
Okay, yeah. Once upon a midnight dreary, as I pondered weak and weary. Yeah. What was that? Over a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. K4LJE, I love my radio.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Sounds good. Could use maybe just a tad more top end, but just a little bit there, maybe a couple of clicks. Do you have EQ on that radio?
Yeah, we got EQ. It's the same EQ. It's outboard. We just bumped it up a little bit. So there you go. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We backed off the microphone just a tad bit. Over.
Yes, sir. Absolutely beautiful. Those last 3 sentences were just absolutely perfect, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, we're hitting, we're driving, putting out 100 watts into a SB220 amp, and we're on an in-fed wire, which is up about 30 feet and 117 feet long, with a bunch of radials underneath it, which is shared with the vertical out there in the yard. And we got a wet ground and 41 degrees, cold outside because my wife put me on a honeydew thing and I had to go outside and do it. KC9VKV, K4LJE.
Roger, Jim. Well, you know, I have heard of people that watered their vertical ground system. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they would actually, do a couple of hours of watering on their ground system, on their vertical ground system, and it did improve their radiation level. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I've heard of people go as far as to use salt, just mix in salt with the recipe there, and salt around the ground rods and everything else.
Roger. Now, I used to work for a radio station down in West Palm Beach that was down around Flagler Drive. I don't know if you know about West Palm Beach, but Flagler Drive runs along the inland waterway part of the inland waterway, and the actual transmitter tower was located about 60 feet to 100 feet out in that inland waterway. Now, that inland waterway would be salt water because it's fed by the ocean, and that little station really used to just bang out because of that ground system being in salt water. Because the far side of the ground system was totally underwater, and the near side was about let's say maybe 75 feet out in the water. So those ground radios were probably 150 feet long, so about half of those were, the distance of those towards the shore were under water for 75 feet. Then they went underneath the road, so that little station really used to bang out, Roger.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sirree, I bet you. My goodness. Yes, indeed. I did want to come in here and say hello to you fellas, and I'd really, really appreciate the report. And I'm very glad we got somebody with broadcast experience that is interested in taking their time and helping people and giving decent reports and fair reports and all that. And I just, my hat's off to you, my friend, and I just wanted to tell you that. I really appreciate it. And I did want to say hi, and I don't want to hog it. I've been too long here already. So anyway, thanks again. Hope you had good holidays, and happy MLK Day on Monday. Yeah, Monday. And we'll say 7-3. Really appreciate it. And you're still 20 over 9, probably about 25 over 9 here. And I'll try to maintain this distance here from the microphone. And by the way, the microphone is an Audio Technica 3035, Audio Technica 3035 condenser mic. KC9VKV, K4LJE. Thank you, Jim.
Roger, Jim. Now, just out of curiosity, what mic preamp are you using to give your condenser mic its B+?
The B+, I have it, I'm going through a Mackie mixer. And for this rig, I'm using the solid-state preamp that's built into the mixer. It's supposed to be the latest and greatest type of preamp that Mackie has got there, Roger.
Oh, Roger, and so it gives you the 48 volts?
Yes, sir, sure does.
Excellent, just excellent. It really sounds nice. And the way that, I guess, would work, do you use that mixer for your other radios?
Yeah, oh yeah, yes I do. and I've got a switching system that I can go from one to the next. On both I've got two different switches. I've got a set of switches for the amplifier, moving the amplifier around as far as the control, and also for the audio for the sound there, Roger.
Oh, excellent, excellent. That's the way to do it. So you always have the capability of shifting your audio very easily through the mixer EQ, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Plus, it makes a quick maneuver to get my rear end upstairs when my wife screams at me there. Hi.
Yeah, I know what that is. All right, Jim, 73 up that way, sir. As always, you're 20 to 15 over, 15 to 20 over, just beautiful signal, and just consistent, no fading at all. So 73 that way, Roger.
Roger. Thanks again, Jim. Really appreciate it. Happy New Year, K4LJE.
Roger, 73. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net for a Friday afternoon. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Baker Hotel. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Roger. The call is Kilo 4 Bravo Hotel near Atlanta, Georgia. And the name is Dave, Delta Alpha Victor Echo. And you're coming in here about 10 to 15 over 9. Over.
Roger, Dave. What radio are you running today, sir?
It's a Yaesu FTDX 5000.
Roger, Dave. I'm writing slower and slower these days. Okay, if you would, give me about 10 seconds on your antenna system so I can listen to your audio, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that.
Your audio, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Hey, jumped over the Lazy Dog. And I'm originally from the West Coast, out here in the East Coast, enjoying a retirement and enjoying ham radio immensely. Back to you.
All right, Dave. I think we can maybe improve your modulation just a little bit. Setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what it needs to do. So if you'd be interested, advance your compressor to the on position and add a 3. Roger?
Okay, well, the compressor is on at this point, and was during transmission. Let me see, let's see, where, oh, there it is, okay. Well, right now it's at 30. But let's go down. I'll go down to 3, and that's where it is now. Go ahead.
Was that 30 out of 100?
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I had it in the wrong setting. Okay, now it's selection 3.
Okay, so let me review here. What we're looking for is about a third of the capabilities of that compressor. So it's a 3 out of 10, a 30 out of 100. Roger?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, now just want to be, let me see here. Okay, so we want to be at 30 in this case. So we're at 30 now on compression. Over.
All right, sir. And then as you move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, I want you to adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3, and you'll have to speak just a little bit quicker, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to keep that meter up where you can see it to adjust it. But anyway, move to your ALC meter and adjust your mic gain to where your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger that. Okay, we're at 64321, 6432221, 6432221. Hello, test 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's about where it is.
Yes, sir. And now tell me a little bit about your antenna system, about 10 seconds or so I can hear your audio.
Yeah, Roger. I'm driving an SP amplifier. It's about 400 to 500 watts output into a sloping center-fed dipole. It's a fan dipole. It's got 2 elements on it, one for 40 and one for 80, and it's facing due west. Go ahead.
Okay, it really sounds nice. You could use just a tad more top end. Do you know where your transmit EQ is?
Oh boy, there's a whole slew of adjustments here in the menu. Let's see, and there's a whole group of settings with the processor and without the processor. So we are running the processor now, but I'm not quite sure. You said, let's see, there's center frequency, and you've got low, medium, high there. You've got parametric gain, low, medium, high, and Q bandwidth, low, medium, and high. Over.
Okay, so essentially you're talking about a 3-band parametric EQ. Is that a roger?
That's a roger.
Okay, so just leave your bottom and your mid-range where they are. Go to your top EQ, and you can keep your same bandwidth as far as the parametric part is concerned, but advance the gain of that top end 2 clicks from where you are. Boost.
Okay, it'll take a minute here because I've got to go through the menu. Stand by one, please.
I'll tell you what, just note to self, and you can do that at your leisure. Plus 2 clicks, hotter treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
Very good. Yeah, there's a slew of people waiting, so I don't want to take the time. But other than that, audio sounds pretty decent at this point.
Yes, sir. I would advise that you get a windscreen for that microphone. It will take out any transients. I want you to work it just like you're working it, but I want you to get a windscreen to put on that mic. Roger?
Yeah, actually, there's one on there at this point already.
What mic is that?
It's a podium mic. It's an static. I just brought up the specs. An 827A podium mic, and it is a condenser mic. Over.
Yes, sir. It seems to be a little more prone to plosive pickup. I would suggest maybe trying getting another windscreen that might work a little bit better. If that doesn't work, then use both windscreens, one on top of the other. Roger?
Very good. I'll take your advice on that. Actually, this is quite timely because I want to have a maximum audio quality signal for the contest coming up. Roger?
Yes, sir. Well, that will do it. Yeah, and I think you're just right on target there. Like I say, the only thing I noticed was a little plosive interference. And what happens is it's catching a wind current. And what that does, that condenser microphone is capable of very low frequency responses, and so it's actually taking that wind current that it receives and transferring it into an electrical signal. And I noticed that when you hit your plosive, not only did I hear it, but I saw your level actually drop back. And what was happening was the frequency was a very low frequency that was pushing your compressor and pushing the level down and pulling everything down for, you would just look at it and say for some reason, but I know what that reason was. It was that low frequency of that plosive that was hitting that compressor and sucking everything down just for an instant. So when you get that windscreen situation worked out, your level will just stay consistent because it won't be catching those transient air masses. Roger?
Okay, roger that. Very good. And what's the frequency range? Should I adjust up a couple?
That's your treble EQ, top end EQ, treble EQ plus 2 from where you are. And you can, like I say, you can use the current width of your parametric just like it is. So just boost the equalizer 2 clicks from where it is, treble EQ.
Roger that. No, that's terrific. And I'm sorry, everyone's been giving your name, but I just completely forgot. Your name, please?
Roger, your name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike.
Hey, Jim. Well, listen, I won't hold it. Thanks very much for the critique, and we'll take care of those issues. This is K4BBH. Back to you, KC9VKV.
Roger, Roger, Dave. 73 that way, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Lots of luck on your contesting. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Juliet, number 4, Mexico, Ocean, Germany, K4MOG. Juliet.
MOG, station MOG. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Roger, Kilo, number 4, Mexico, Ocean, Germany. My name is Gene, and I'm 30 kilometers northwest of Atlanta.
Roger, Gene, is that G-E-N-E?
That is G-E-N-E. Roger.
Roger, and where did you say your location was, sir? Sorry.
I am 30 kilometers northwest of Atlanta, Georgia.
Alrighty, let me get my Georgia SDR on the trail, and I'll see if you sound any better. What radio are you running, sir?
We're running 6400. Over.
I'm sorry, 6400, Roger?
That is correct.
Okay, I just went down to Georgia, and I was much better on my local antenna. So I am on my local antenna, and you're about a 15 to 20 over. A very nice signal. And so tell me something about the your radio that you really like.
Okay, well, I assume that you're going to run a Spectrum or something. And I was going to tell you that there was another station, AM station, just like the one you were talking about, that had the tower out in the waterway, and that is up at St. Augustine. I don't know whether you were aware of that or not. I think they were on 1240, something like that. Over.
No, I was not aware of that one, but you know, you from experiencing that one realized that was that a kilowatt station?
Roger, that's correct. And there was an article in QST about some hams actually being given the Collins transmitter out of that station probably a year ago. Over.
Roger. It might have been a big mistake for the station that gave it, because there probably wouldn't have been a better standby transmitter than that Collins.
Roger. I think they had an additional transmitter in addition to that one. But, yeah, they had run the radial system out there on a pier, and it went down in the water. Same as you were talking about down further south. Over.
Roger. Now, normally, what they do would be the transmitter would be in the studio or at the station on the land side, and they would just run coax out to the tower, you know, rather than put the transmitter out in the ocean or in the waterway. Roger.
Oh yeah, understood. I've been in broadcast engineering myself, and yeah, the transmitter stays inside. Antenna goes outside. There was also another station you may be aware of, Jim, WAPE, and they were 25,000 watts, and they actually used an old Darty linear circuit, brand new for them, but, you know, parts, but the Darty linear's been around since the 30s. And they could be heard up and down the coast because of the ground conductivity. They were in Jacksonville, Florida. Over.
Oh, Roger, I heard the ape growl many, many times, sir. The station that I worked for was an older station, 1933, I believe, was its beginning, and they had their original transmitter, which had been moved to a backup transmitter, and the current transmitter they had was an RCA, you know, one of those forever. Everybody had one RCA kilowatt, I think it was, but that first one was a Western Electric low-level modulation transmitter. That is, you know what low-level modulation is. They modulate like at about 25 watts or 100 watts, and then they amplify the whole thing, hopefully linearly, up to a kilowatt. And it was always a great battle to get that station to amplify the audio linearly because of one tune or another. It was very critical to tune that transmitter. Roger?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, Western Electric used the Darty linear. The Darty linear was actually two tubes. Let's say your power output was supposed to be 1,000 watts. One tube continuously ran 500 watts, and the other tube, fed out of phase, would pick up anything over 500. So that the exciter, when it went positive, the audio went, well, the carrier went positive above the, you know, power in the sidebands. It actually, you know, allowed it to swing that way. And that was a very efficient circuit that Western Electric came up with. I'm wondering if that might be the Daugherty linear, over.
I was not privy to a bunch of that at the time. I could only tell when I was coming to work, I could tell which transmitter they were on, because there was a decided increase in distortion, at least to my ears, when they were running the backup transmitter. And I'm sure the technical engineer there was very proficient at his capabilities, so I know that he was tuning it just as best as it could be tuned, but to me, it did offer a little bit more distortion than a plate modulated signal. Roger?
Roger, understand. And I think probably they had a Daugherty linear. In fact, WAPE was a Daugherty linear, and to get their 90-degree phasing that they had to have, they actually ran a transmission line out and back of the station and then back in that was cut to a quarter wavelength of their frequency on 690. So, it's been done before, over.
Roger. Now, I also worked for a 50 kW station that was the original station that used Western Electric transmitter for 50 kW. And this was like a long room with doors on either side of it, as this transmitter just was like a half a block long, Roger.
Yes, exactly. And WSB here in Atlanta, their early transmitter was a Western Electric. And it was a long room. You had your power supply, you had your modulator, you had your final section.
Roger, and if you notice, they were always located beside a lake, and they would use the water in the lake for cooling, not for the actual cooling, but because the water that they were using to run through the thing was a closed loop water system, but they would use other water to cool that unit. Roger?
Roger, yes. The Western Electric, some of the other early transmitters were water cooled. And probably the best example of the water-cooled transmitters was WLW in Mason, Ohio. Did you ever see that one?
Oh yes, sir. I saw a presentation of the 500 kW portion of that transmitter, and there was an old tale that engineers told about when they were ever around a transmitter like that WLW transmitter, that you would always keep one hand in your pocket. You would never have both hands exposed at the same time for obvious reasons.
Roger. Well, there was a saying among broadcast engineers, Little Johnny took off like a rocket because he didn't keep one hand in his pocket. Over.
Roger. And the other side of that tale is in the Navy, they used to have what's called an S-stick, which turned out to be a wooden prod with a ground lead on it, and this ground lead came back down the stick, and you would click the other end of that ground to the chassis, and when they would bypass the interlocks to open the transmitter areas with the high voltage, they would always take this S-stick, and you can imagine what the S stood for, and they would tap around in there to the high points and make sure that everything was dead to ground. Roger?
Roger, yeah. The 5 kW transmitter that I used to work with actually had the S-stick inside the door, and the wire leading to the S-stick was braid, and the braid was copper braid, and it went right to the chassis. And what you did without fail was once you opened that door and closed down the transmitter, you did exactly what you were saying. You went to the top of the big oil capacitors, you grounded them, you grounded the plate, and once all that was done, some of the engineers used to leave the S-stick actually laying on the plate circuit itself. Over.
Oh, Roger, because you wouldn't want that to come back, for whatever reason, back to life as you were working in there. So I think we've covered about all the transfers. Really been very interesting, Gene. Roger?
Roger, yes. And I just heard you talking about the in the water business, salt water, and had to mention the one in St. Augustine. Well, so what are you hearing on that end, Jim?
Looking pretty good. I would just run through a couple of things just to double check. It looks, like I said, pretty good, but your compressor's on at a 3. Is that a Roger?
On the 6400, the compressor is normal, DX, and DX plus, and I'm running DX, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's good. And then, do you have a modulation light on that, or a ALC meter?
Well, I've got a compression meter, and I'm compressing about 22 dB on the meter. And I have a level meter. I'm not sure what level it's monitoring, but I've been told it's about -8. And on peaks, that's where it is, over.
Roger. Does that have a light at the 0 level?
The light at the 0 level?
Yes, it does. And the light does come on from time to time, over.
Yes, Roger, that's exactly what you want from time to time. Nothing consistent as far as that light coming on, but just every once in a while. So with that said, gosh, I would say that you're probably running about as best that you can run there, Roger. You know, the only thing would be maybe a slight EQ boost on the top end. I'm always pushing that because it's a matter of intelligibility, and when push come to shove and you're in heavy QRM, or you're contesting, whatever it might be, the more intelligent and more intelligible your audio is, the easier people are going to be able to understand the words. Sometimes, they can hear the voice, but they can't quite pull out the words, and that's because the articulation level of the equalization is not pushing the top end quite enough to make it articulated. So I would say if you got a chance, maybe a click or two more top end EQ, just to brighten things up just a tad.
Okay, very good. Good advice. I just went up 1 on the equalizer here is divided in 63, 125, 250, 500, 1K, 2K, 4K, and 8K. And I just went up 1 click on the 4K and 1 on the 8K. This is what you're sounding like down here this afternoon, Jim.
Slight EQ boost on the top end. I'm always pushing that because it's a matter of intelligibility, and when push come to shove and you're in heavy QRM, or you're contesting, whatever it might be, the more intelligent and more intelligible your audio is, the easier people are going to be able to understand them.
So that's what you're sounding like on this end, Jim, over.
Thank you very much, Gene. Very good recording. The other thing is I would like to hear you one time come back with your compressor in the normal range versus the DX1 position. A normal range on your compressor, Roger?
A normal range on your compressor, Roger.
Okay, this is the normal range right here with no compression. Well, actually, there is compression. I think anytime the processor's in the circuit, there is compression. Let me cut processing off. Okay, now processing is totally off, and there's no compression, over.
Yeah, Roger, I wanted to hear it just with that normal on. You have 3 positions on that compressor, normal, DX1, and DX2, I guess it is. So I thought the DX1 might have been just a little too much, just a tad too much, and I just wanted to hear you in the normal compressor range, Roger.
In the normal compressor range, Roger.
Well, so what's your verdict?
I think I like the normal better. I think the +1 DX position might be just a tad too much. It tends to become more than what I'm looking for in setup is a 3 dB dynamic range, because I think that that the voice has to have some dynamic range to assist intelligibility. That is to say, if there is no dynamic range and the voice is just up against the wall with nothing moving, you're just looking at 0 dB range, it's hard to understand what the words are because they're blurry. So you need a certain amount of dynamic range in the voice, and I found 3 dB to be the ideal amount of life in the voice dynamics. Roger.
In the voice dynamics, Roger.
Roger, Jim. KC9VKV, K4MOG. Well, that's about where we are now. I do believe the compressor is in the normal, the processor is on, and I am getting compression about, right now, about minus 25 dB compression. Before it was minus 22 dB compression. So it's 3 or 4 dB further down, and that should give me some dynamic range. Over.
Yeah, so that looks fine. That looks right at 3 dB, which is exactly where you want to be. So I think we got her. Outside of that additional EQ, if you wanted to crank that in at a later date, Roger.
At a later date, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Okay. Well, my only other question, Jim, is what are you looking at it on? Or do you have a audio spectrum analyzer you're running there?
Yes, sir. On the set, there is a spectrum analyzer, which, incidentally, we have been recording from now until, from 5 o'clock, from 3:30 till 5. So if you want to look at our QSO, and you can observe the spectrum analyzer that's on the set, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 1/15/21, that will take you directly to this recording. And like I say, we do have a spectrum analyzer on the set tied to the audio, and you can see what your radio is doing there. And also, I'm looking at a VU meter. I've spent 50 years looking at VU meters. I can tell where the VU meter is going within a nanosecond of its travel, moving up the range just by the speed of the ballistics. And looking at it, you can tell and easily tell what the dynamic range is as to how the meter moves. Roger?
Roger?
Roger, yes. I spent some time looking at a VU meter as a disc jockey, and you're absolutely correct. You can tell a little bit about what's going on there. Well, I'm sure other people are trying to reach your Jim. 73s, thank you for the check. KC9VKV, K4MOG.
Roger, MOG. Gene, 73 that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. Well, this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 3, Bravo Alpha Tango.
Whiskey 3, Bravo. Whiskey 3, Bravo Alpha Tango. And what's the name there?
Yeah, name is Mark here.
Roger, Mark. And whereabouts are you located, sir?
I'm in a little town called Oil City, Pennsylvania. It's about 60 miles south of Erie.
Alrighty, and what radio are you running?
I'm running Kenwood TS590 into the Ameritron AL80B into a double bazooka for 40 meters.
Okay, sir. Would you be interested in a setup procedure?
Possibly, yeah, sure.
All right, starts with your compressor engaged at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does precisely what we need to do. So if you would engage your compressor at a 3, Roger.
You just want it at 3.
What we're looking for is a third of its capabilities. So if it's a 1 to 10, it's on a 3. If it's a 100 to, if it's a 10 to 100, then it would be a 30, Roger?
Okay, let me put the input on 30.
Alrighty, and then move to your ALC. And with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC to run mid-scale to 2/3. Now you need to speak a little quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to get that meter up and see where it's going. And then with your mic gain, adjust it for mid-scale to 2/3.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's giving me about 50 to 75% on the ALC.
Roger. We're looking for, we're between 50 and 75%, maybe leaning just about 5% more, about 80 actually, but 50 to 75 will get it. Roger.
Roger, roger.
All right, and then tell me in 10 seconds about your antenna system or thereabouts.
Yeah, I'm running an inverted V double bazooka dipole.
All right, so do you know where your transmit EQ is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's proceed to your transmit EQ and tell me what kind of EQ it is, and is it a 3-band EQ?
All right, I have it on the conventional EQ.
Okay, I'm not sure what that does. That mean there was another EQ in there?
Well, there's several of them. There's a high boost 1, high boost 2, bass boost.
Okay, do you have? Well, gosh, what I'm looking for is a little more brightness to the signal there. So. Whatever. Do you have a setting that is bright?
All right, this is high boost 2. How's that?
All right, tell me something about your radio that you like, and let me listen to that EQ pattern.
Sure, yeah, I like the receiver on the Kenwood. It's absolutely fabulous receiver. Of all the radios I have, it's my favorite.
Okay, now in that position, do you have additional EQ possibilities? In other words, could you give me +3 additional top-end EQ from that position?
There's an EQ embedded in this, but I have to have a computer attached to it, and I don't.
All right, well, let me give you a note. Your signal right now, audio-wise, is kind of there, but it's not very bright. It's not very articulated. So what I'm looking for is a little more top-end EQ to brighten it up, at least 3 clicks more top-end EQ from where you are on the treble control, and then maybe a -1 on the bottom, or 2 on the bottom, just to brighten you up some. You say that's a 3-band EQ?
Well, the EQs are preset. If this is a high boost 1, does that give it any more top?
Yeah, it's sounding better. Again, give me about 10 seconds on something I don't know, and let me hear your audio.
Yeah, this is Mark from Oil City, Pennsylvania, 60 miles south of Erie, 90 miles north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, that's better. That's better. As we go, let me give you a hint. You might want to get a windscreen for that microphone because I'm hearing some transient. But now that we've played a little EQ situation there, we want to go back to our ALC and double check our ALC reading, because when you make changes to your EQ, you need to go back as the last thing and double check that your ALC reading is still mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Okay, I'm checking it right now. It actually is up a little bit higher. Well, yeah, the only problem with this is there's a slight offshoot on the ALC when you first speak into it. So, but what I'm not naturally talking into it right now is probably about 75%.
Okay, Mark, I am noticing, you have to me, I can hear that you might have been slightly off mic on that last transmission. You need to stay on axis to your microphone because the top end is affected by how you work the microphone. And if you turn off from that microphone, that top end is depreciated quite a bit. So you want to stay on axis to the microphone at all times, Roger?
Yeah, I'm 1 to 2 inches away, and I'm right on the microphone. I don't move from it, so I'm directly speaking into it.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what you want to do. Just that last transmission was perfect. So, Mark, I think we got it, sir. Outside of that note, that maybe possibly you might want to do another, just a tad EQ push on the top end, Roger.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It was fun. I didn't catch your name.
Roger, your name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. At KC9VKV, we're located near Louisville, Kentucky. We're just on the other side of the Ohio River in Indiana, right across from Louisville. Roger?
All right, KC9VKV from W3BAT. All right, thanks a lot, Jim. I appreciate it, and let you get to someone else then. Have a good day, and 7-3s.
Roger, Mark, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We do this every Friday from 3:30 to 5, record all the time. And again, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that will, followed by today's date, 1/15/21, that will take you to this recording. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Echo 3, Papa Charlie, Papa Alfred Sierra.
Papa Charlie, Papa, how's it going there?
Yeah, good afternoon, Jim. Rob here in Tiverton. I'm at home this afternoon. It's going well. Just got in from walking the dogs after getting home from work, so fired the old Kenwood S520 up here, and I thought I'd give you a shout. KC9VKV, V3PCP.
Roger, Rob. Well, gosh, what radio are you running today, sir?
Kenwood TS520.
TS520, Roger. Well, what's been going on up there, man?
Well, you know, just it's been a bit of a dull, gray week with, you know, just typical kind of crappy winter weather, you know, no snow, just above freezing and just kind of sloppy and wet, you know what I mean?
Oh, Roger. I was trying to get you on my Milford PA, and I can see it moving around, but it's not on my selector for some reason. I don't know what it is. Give me 10 seconds about something I don't know, and let me look for my Milford PA SDR. Roger?
Yeah, okay, very good. Roger. Here it's, like I said, the vintage Kenwood TS520. It's one of the Kenwood hybrid radios, so it's all the final and driver and the transmitter, 6146B finals in it, and it actually has a built-in vibrator power supply, so you can run it on 12 volts as well. It's a little bit heavy for mobile use, but you know, it's from that era, so it's probably a late 70s radio. KC9VKV, V3PCP.
Roger, is this the same radio you were running last week?
No, negative. No, it's a different radio. I'm running barefoot today as well.
Oh, you are? Wow, good signal. Just beautiful signal. I am trying to bring my Milford back up. Come on, Milford. It's not coming up. There it is. Anyway, yeah, it sounds really good. The one last week, as I recall, had a tinge of distortion in it. It might have been RF in the AF. I'm not sure, but it did have just a tad bit of distortion. Roger?
Yeah, I heard that in the recording. I'm not sure what was going on there. I hadn't changed anything. It's the same rig I've been running all along. It's the Kenwood TS850 with the Kenwood desk mic, and I was running a linear on it, but I was pretty sure I had everything set up right, but you never know. Anyway, so I'm running a Shure 444 high impedance desk mic on this one. That's what the rig is set up for, is high impedance, so I've had pretty good reports on it. KC9VKV, V3PCP.
Oh, Roger, Rob, that's perfect. The audio is just perfect today, Roger.
Oh, very good. Well, glad to hear it, and thanks for being there again today, as always. And you got the date right, or the year right today, so that's good. Good start. So I'll let you get back to some other stations there, Jim. Take care and be well, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VK TCP.
Roger, Rob. Thanks for clarifying last week the date. I was amiss in getting the year right when I cleaned the board and got the new date. One of those close but no cigars days, Roger.
Yeah, QSO. Well, I think it's known as a brain fart, but anyway, We all get those from time to time, Jim. No worries. 73 V3 PCP.
Roger, Rob, 73 up that way, so have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. Appreciate it. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Julia, Tank.
The 3, Quebec Kilo.
Quebec Kilo Station, come back slowly with your call sign again, phonetically.
Very good. This is Victor Alpha 3, Quebec Kilo. Victor America 3, Quebec Kilo. And the name is Ben, Bravo Echo November. And I'm located about 60 miles north of Toronto. And just curious to know how you like this audio, over.
Looking pretty good. I'm copying you, incidentally, on the Arlington SDR. I would normally use my Milford SDR, but for some reason I have lost contact with that. I'll have to check the settings on that SDR. But come back, if you would, and give me another 10 seconds or so and tell me about your antenna system, Roger.
Your antenna system, Roger. Okay, very good. Running an ICOM 7300 here. I'm running 100 watts barefoot into a G5 RV, approximately 30 feet above ground at the feed point. And I've got a 100 microphone, one of the LR mics that you can buy off Amazon. And a local ham friend of mine suggested I try it, and I have, and I'm liking it. I'm getting some good reports, and I've often heard your assistance hour here, and I would like to get your opinion if you think it's sounding okay.
Roger, Ben. Yeah, I am looking at your audio, and if you would like, we could maybe get a few more inkles out of that transmitter. If you would like, go to your compressor and adjust it on to a 3. Compressor on at a 3, Roger.
Compressor on at a 3, Roger.
So I think a pretty good evening ahead for VX maybe, and let's hope that you make many good contacts.
So KC9VKV, this is VA3QK with the compressor now at the 3 position, over.
Roger, Ben. Yeah, we're getting some traffic coming in from somewhere. I don't know if it's Skip or whatever, but just started, and it's in the background. I can still copy you very well. All right, with the compressor on at a 3, now let's move to the ALC, and with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC meter to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3. As you speak kind of rapidly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to keep the meter up to see how to adjust it. With your mic gain, adjust that ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3 operation.
For mid-scale to 2/3 operation. Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm pushing it almost to the edge of the ALC limit there, James.
Roger, you probably want to just do 80, about 80% max. Don't really want to push it up against the wall, but looking for mid-scale to 2/3. The sweet spot is actually halfway between mid-scale and 2/3, Roger.
Between mid-scale and 2/3, Roger. Oh, Roger. Okay, well, this is now at about 70% mic gain, and I'm seeing probably just getting close to the edge of the ALC line.
Roger. Well, just so long as you do not exceed. Like I say, we usually recommend setting up between mid-scale and 2/3, and that'll give you just a little bit of clearance on the edges to, not be a problem. So, just keep it around 80% max between mid-scale and 2/3, Roger. Between mid-scale and 2/3, Roger.
Okay, very good. I appreciate the advice, and I thank you for the time. I have been getting good reports with this as it was, but any improvement is also acceptable, right?
I didn't copy quite all of that last. That QRM is coming up just a little bit. The frequency is in use. This is the Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor QSO-VLOG Friday afternoon net in progress. Frequency is in use. This long-winded son of a gun there. I don't think he's taken a break for the last 10 minutes. Anyway, Ben, I think we got it there pretty good, buddy.
Ben, I think we got it there pretty good, buddy. And we'll go from there. KC9VKV, DA32K73.
Roger, Ben. 73 up that way, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday afternoon. We start at 3:30 and record live from 3:30 till 5. So right now, if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
It's here.
Just caught the tail end of somebody. Come back and try it again, please.
Julia Tango November. Uniform Golf.
Uniform Golf Station. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
And November 3, Yankee Uniform Golf. November 3, Yankee Uniform Golf.
Roger, Yankee Uniform Golf. And what's the name there?
Yeah, the name on this end is Jason. Juliet Alpha Sierra Oscar November.
All right, Jason, and where are you located, sir?
Yeah, I'm located here in the southern part of Maryland, about an hour and a half southeast of Washington, D.C., running an FPDX 101D and recent purchase of the RE20 microphone. And I've been playing with the settings and hoping to get them into good shape, but not sure where we're sitting right now. Back to you there, Jim.
Roger. Well, first off on our generic setup is getting that compressor on at about a 3. It's a token amount, but it does precisely what we need it to do. So if you would check and get your compressor on at about a 3. Roger?
Yeah, Jim, I'll get that here in a second. But the other thing is this new rig has an AMC, an auto mic, automatic mic. I forget what the Charlie stands for, but it's almost where it levels out the audio coming in, and then that's on also. But I'm going to switch the processor over here, and we'll give it's on a percentage here, so we're up at 30% on the processor right now. Over.
All right, just out of kicks, give me a dead key for about 5 seconds.
Back to you, Jim.
Yes, sir. Okay, everything's copacetic. We had no pump up, so we're well within tolerance there of where we are as far as the compressor. So I understand you have this ALC control that kind of navigates some of the mic level, and then you have a compressor which is on and at a 3. Roger?
Yeah, that's correct. The AMC is kind of like a limiting circuit on the audio coming into the rig before it gets processed to take out any distortion. And then the processor right now is on 30% mic gain with the AMC setting. The mic gain sitting at about 50, 51 right now, and 3 YUG.
Okay, Jason, now I want you to go to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and while you speak kind of quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, I want you to adjust your mic gain to where your ALC reading is a mid-scale to 2/3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are sitting right in between half and 3/4 scale.
Yes, sir. Now give me 10 seconds on your antenna system and let me hear you.
All right, Jim. The antenna system here, we're running a double bazooka antenna on 40 meters up at about 50 feet, maybe 100 feet of coax in between the station here. And right now we're running, should be running 100 watts. Nope, sorry, we were power's back a little bit. So now we're up at 100 watts. And the meters are showing ALC at about 2/3, and compression is peaking up at maybe just a hair over the 5 on the compression. And unfortunately, if I change the AMC, that also changes all those readings, so it makes it a little more difficult. Entry YUG, back to you.
Yeah, no need. Keep your AMC on, keep your ALC where it is, keep your mic gain where it is. Everything looks just perfect there. Now, do you know where your transmit EQ is?
Yeah, Jim, I got the Parametric EQ on here. Load is set at 400 with a level of -9. With a level of -9. Width of 3, which is load 1 is the widest, 10 is the narrowest. Mids are set at 900, level of 5, bandwidth of a wide bandwidth down at 1. Highs are set at 2400 hertz, peaked out at 10. 1 there for our bandwidth effect, over.
Roger, I was just working on my Milford SDR. Was that a 3-band EQ? I'm sorry, I was distracted just a moment. Is that a 3-band EQ?
Yeah, Jim, 3-band EQ, Parametric. So it's got 400 hertz is where I'm centered on the lows, with a -9 level and a bandwidth of 3, which is fairly wide. Mids are at 900 with a level of 5, bandwidth at the widest, which is a 1. Highs are 2400, level of 10, positive 10, and a bandwidth at the widest of 1. Over.
All right, usually what I do on a 3-band EQ, I recommend being flat in the mid EQ position, because the 3-band EQ, the whole thing is to bring the top end imbalance to the mid-range and the low range imbalance to the mid-range. So if you cut or boost the mid-range, it makes it so much harder for the top end to catch up or the bottom end to catch up. So I recommend flat on the mid-range EQ. Roger, start with a flat EQ on the mid-range. Roger?
Okay, Jim. This is the mid-range set at 900, and we took that down to 0, so that's flat. And so we're sitting flat now. This is N3YUG, located here in the southern part of Maryland. Over.
Roger. Now, what is the treble EQ? Do you have any more boost capabilities on your treble EQ, the top end?
No, Jim. I'm maxed out at a positive 10 on the level. And the frequency it's set at is 2400 hertz. Over.
Yes, sir, that's perfect. Now let's go to the bottom end. What's your bottom end setting?
I have that set at 400 hertz at a -9 for the level, and the bandwidth is almost as wide as I can go. 1's widest, and it's setting into 3 right now.
All right, you still have one more increment of bottom end roll capability, Roger?
Yeah, I can roll off one more increment.
Okay, I would go ahead and do that. And then listen to you. Also, after we've made these EQs, we need to go back to our LC to be sure our level is still mid-range to 2/3, because we have pretty much moved our level around by shifting our EQs. Roger?
Yeah, QSL. Right now, the ALC level is about 3/4 scale. A little over half the 3/4 scale, and the compression is bouncing at a lower level. We're coming up to about a 3 on average, and 5 at the highest peak there. Over.
Roger, I think that's fine. I would like to have had a better signal on you. I do have a 0 level signal, and noise is in there. I'd like to hear it, obviously, just a little bit cleaner, but from what I can tell, it really sounds good. I think what was happening was you were rolling that mid-range way down, and therefore you were killing the body of your voice, because the mid-range is the body. The top end and the bottom end are niceties that you need, but that mid-range is super critical. So by us bringing that up to 0 level, and then having everything else work together, I think it's a stronger signal and more natural sounding. Roger.
Yeah, okay, Jim. Yeah, we did turn the amp on. Maybe I didn't know if you had a decent signal on me or not, but we put the amp on, so we're giving a little more output here. And yeah, we took the mid there from a positive 5 level and backed it off to a 0 to flatten that out. So that was the adjustment on the mids. And figure we'll give you just a little more audio here with the amp on, and hopefully that'll clear anything up or any other advice on adjustments there. Over.
Roger, Roger. Now, Jason, you you must always put your best foot forward. I don't care what the ARRL says. I think that you always need to put your best foot forward, Roger, and that is with the amp on. It just makes, you know, just like in this instance right here, there was about 10 minutes of, well, I think he said this or whatever. Not that bad, but I can hear you a lot cleaner now. Let me just say that.
QSL, Jim. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's an ACOM, so it takes a little while to warm up. And I missed getting in last week, so I threw my call out, and you came back to me before the amp was ready. So that was one of the reasons we waited to turn it on. But hopefully things don't sound too much different, other than it's a lot easier on your ears there. Over.
Well, you know, I'm looking at your signal on a spectrum analyzer, and the spectrum analyzer is reading everything in the spectrum. And when you're not forefront with your power amp on, I'm reading noise in addition to your voice, and it does cum on a spectrum analyzer, Roger.
Hey, QSL, very good, and yeah, again, apologize for not kicking that on earlier and making everything a lot easier on you there.
Yeah, Roger, not a problem, not a problem. But I just suggest that, be all that you can be, and that helps usually all the way down the line. There's a lot of different philosophies on that, but that's just mine, is be all that you can be. Anyway, it really sounds good with the box on, Roger.
Hey, QSL, Jim, I appreciate it. And yeah, I've been bouncing around lately with settings, that mid-range, adjusting it up around 13 and 1400 hertz. And I dropped it down to 8 and 9 yesterday, and kind of listening to myself on SDRs, that I wanted to get a little bit better opinion out there and see how things sounded. And I'll go back and I'll take a listen through an SDR on one of the nets tonight, record myself there, and see how things have turned out there. I appreciate the help, and I know you're getting ready to either shut down or at least maybe work another station. So I appreciate the help, Jim. 7-3, and have a great evening from N3YUG.
Roger, Jason. Yeah, and like I say, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to, along with today's date, KC9VKV, along with 1/15/21 date, will take you directly to this recording. And like I say, we have a spectrum analyzer on the set, and you can see your audio characteristics in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, so you can actually see the progression of our setup. So we'll say 73 for now, Jason. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net for Friday afternoon, and we have time for about one more. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. India Uniform Hotel. Give me the call sign phonetically slowly from the top.
Now, Roger, this is Kilo Golf 4, India Uniform Hotel.
Roger, India Uniform Hotel. What's the name there? I tell you what, I was on an SDR. I think it's got about a 15-second latency or something. I never heard you come back. I am listening again, sir. This is KC9VKV.
9VKV.
Gosh, I'm not copying you very well. I would normally have a good copy on you, but my Milford SDR receiver is down for some reason, and I can't use that. So I think I can hear you on Rochester, but it's very, very down. not much signal. But anyway, KG4IUH, come back and try it again, please, sir.
Try it again, please, sir.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. Frequency is in use. This is KC9VKV. Whoever's calling CQ, the frequency is in use. We'll be clearing in about 4 minutes. We will be clearing in about 4 minutes. If you could stand by. This is a QSO-VLOG Friday afternoon net. And we are trying to make contact with Kilo George 4 India Uniform Hawaii. It's KC9VKV.
Hawaii. It's KC9VKV.
Well, I'm sorry, KG4IUH, we have lost contact there. Maybe next Friday we could try it again. So I will say 73 for now, and we don't have, good conditions, so maybe next Friday. This is KC9VKV. We'll try for one last QSO-VLOG before we wrap up. KC9VKV listening.
November 5, Golf Lima Bravo. Good afternoon, Jim.
Golf Lima Bravo. Come back and give me your call sign from the top. Roger.
Roger. This is November 5, Golf Lima Bravo. N5, good little boy. Jim spoke to you 6 or 8 months ago, made some improvements to the station, and I heard you on. Just wanted to say Happy New Year. Hope you've been fine and continue to do well with good health and etc. into 2021. Staying in Mississippi will be clear on your final, sir. Thank you.
Well, don't run off, sir. What's the name there?
Roger, this is Glenn in Mississippi. You helped me tune up the 70.
Roger, Glenn, and you're in Mississippi. Is that a Roger? This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. Glenn, do you still have a copy?
Juliet Tango November.
Hey, Jim, I lost my power supply there for a minute.
Roger, Glenn, I'm copying you back again now. Do you copy me okay?
Roger. I had to turn the TL922 off. I've got something causing my power supply to trip. I got to buy a larger power supply. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi and make sure you was doing well. I've been watching some of your YouTubes. I've been listening on Fridays and so forth. You do a great service to all these guys and myself included. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, sir. And let me say 373 to you, sir. Thanks for checking in, and you have a great weekend, and maybe join us next Friday a little bit earlier, Roger.
Hey, Roger, I'll be listening most likely. I usually come out here and tune in to you and listen to a good bit of the show. 7-3s, Jim.
Okay, and just FYI, you might be just a little hot going into your ALC. Just a tad hot, Roger.
Hang on. All right, I lowered the mic gain some. Did that help?
Yes, sir. I think that's going to do nicely. Thank you, sir. And you have a great weekend, Roger.
Roger, I changed at Christmas. My wife gave me a Yamaha headset with the boom mic on it, and it told on the instructions that it was going to be a little bit hot for ham radio, but I wanted that to try to pull this voice up. 7-3s, Jim.
Yes, sir. Well, gosh, your beautiful voice. I don't think you need much help. That system is doing you very well now. Just always, when you switch mics or whatever, go back and double check your ALC, because all mics are not created equal. So anytime you change mics, you need to go back and verify your ALC level. Roger?
Hey, Roger, I'll do that. I got it on 50% mic gain now. That'll probably help some. This thing is pretty strong.
Roger. Now, also, is a boom mic on a headset?
Yes, Roger. It's a Yamaha headset. I don't know the model number right off, but a lot of broadcast folks use it in booths.
Roger. Now, I'll give you a suggestion. If you take that boom, straighten it out, and go as far out in front of your voice as you can, just straight out as far as you can, and then at the last minute make a 90-degree so the mic is out in front of you, but you've extended that boom straight out. Don't round it around like that. Just take it as far out in front of you as you can get, and then at the last minute make a 90 in front of your voice, and that would be the best way to run that mic. Roger. I didn't copy that last. I think conditions are kind of leaving us.
Yeah, this band's up and down. Sorry, Jim.
Okay, yeah, just give me a little bit more. I think we got it absolutely perfect. Just, I want to record you just about 5 seconds more. Tell me about your antenna system real quick.
Oh, Roger. It's a Cushcraft A3S with a 40-meter add-on, and she's pointed dead over you.
Okay, EQ-wise, I think you might need to roll out a couple of clicks on the bottom end. I think that'll put you exactly where you want to be. -2 on your bass EQ. Roger?
Roger. I'll do that and see how that... I'm glad it brought some bass into my voice. I've been trying to get that.
Yes, sir. I think it does. And if you want to hear your voice, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, along with today's date, 1/15/21, that will take you directly to this recording. This will be right at the end of that recording if you want to speed read, or otherwise, you're welcome to listen to the whole thing. So 73 for now, Glenn. And what was the radio that you're using?
All right, I dropped that bass 2 clicks. It's an ICOM 7300, Jim.
Oh, beautiful. That's a beautiful radio. Perfect radio. You are indeed lucky, sir. All right, so 73 for now, and you have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next Friday if creeks don't rise. Roger?
Roger. I'll be listening. Thanks. 73.
Roger, I think you're just excellent right now, so take a listen and see what you think. So 73 for now. This is KC9VKV concluding another Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. We've enjoyed it. If you have and participated and want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by today's date, 1/15/21, that will take you to this recording. If you just do a call letter search, it'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page, on which we're running about 1,460 some odd QSO-VLOG recordings. But anyway, that will wrap it up for this Friday. We'll see you next Friday. This is KC9VKV returning this frequency to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV will be clear.